really a shocking win for Medvedev, but it feels like with Shea, man, it's kind of untouchable.
I kind of think LeBron James might be the most elite role guy in the NBA.
Peptides, what's going on?
He had bet Bam Adebayo under 25.5 points. He's either getting a statue or he is getting run out of the city.
If I was the coach of the Heat, I would have pulled him out. Yeah. Welcome back to the Onside Pod with Matt and Kyle. Day late this time. It's the saying, day late, dollar short. That's us today.
I didn't know that one, but we'll do either one. Yeah,
we'll roll with it.
Day and a dollar.
Anyways, yeah, we're back. It's been a ton of stuff has happened over the last, I guess 7-8 days that we're going to talk about.
Every sport, it feels like is firing headlines of some sort, even if in NFL it's just headlines for free agency. They're still firing headlines.
Yeah, just honestly, like some crazy headlines too. Like the Max Crosby thing was nuts. How often do you think of one of the best athletes in the sport failing a physical? Like I passed my physical, and
you think he failed his physical? This wasn't some gamesmanship from the Ravens. Is that kind of your?
I think he did. Okay. If there's a doctor's signature on it, I feel like.
But maybe the doctor was a Baltimore doctor. I don't know. I
like to believe that there's some integrity there.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was that in the NFL, and then there was Indian Wells tournament, which was really exciting, even though the conditions were terrible. Still a really fun tournament to watch. And then obviously everything in the NBA happening this past week. The Lakers had a couple crazy games. Bam Adebayo dropping an 83-point.
Buried the lead there a little bit.
Performance.
Yeah, there was nothing weird. No, it was just hoops. Nothing weird happened in that game.
Pure hoops. But yeah, I think I wanted to start off just giving a little bit of context on the Western Conference and where we're at, I guess, like leading into the end of the season and as the smoke clears and the teams are starting to level themselves out. I thought it was interesting. So the Thunder, the Spurs, Lakers, Rockets, Nuggets, and Timberwolves, so the top 6 teams in the Western Conference, have officially clinched a play-in game, which I think OKC did it like a few weeks ago. But for the Timberwolves and Nuggets and Rockets, it had been more recently. So they're already for sure in. The Suns, Clippers, Warriors, and Trailblazers are the next 4. And they have also basically clinched a play-in. The reason I say that, the Trailblazers, as of yesterday, were 32-36, and the Grizzlies are 23-43, where the Grizzlies would be the next team. They're in the 11th spot. So
they don't really look like they even want to win that.
No,
much.
Absolutely not. And being basically 10 games behind, it feels like the playoffs are kind of, at least the teams that are going to make it are set. And so now it's just, vying for matchups over there.
Yeah. Of those play-in teams being Suns, Clippers, Warriors, and then the Portland Trailblazers, any games you're particularly looking forward to? Or I know they're still shaking out exactly, but anything you're looking forward to?
I think I'd be really happy seeing the Trailblazers in a series. I think like one game they can put up a crazy game. I think they were actually the first team that beat OKC this year, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Which was nuts. But I think over a 7-game series, they sort of falter and they're very hit or miss in that sense. So I think that'd probably be the team I'd be the happiest to see out of those. At the end of the day, they're in this is still not the worst teams in the league. So you really do never know. I think the Warriors would just be so annoying to play, even without Steph, which we'll see what the situation is and all of that. But I think it's his knee. But whenever you're playing in a playoff series with Draymond Green, you do not want to see him on the other side of the ball.
For a different reason, I would not. It doesn't look like the Nuggets are going to shake out to play any of these teams. I think just based on, I think they'll be in the 3-6. I would not want to play the Clippers. And I know Kawhi is hurt right now, but this season, one of the storylines of the season has been Kawhi, when he has been healthy, and he's honestly been pretty healthy this year, has been, I don't know, the 5th best player in the league. You're splitting hair. He's in the conversation for one of the best players in the league. And anytime you have like that kind of top guy, you can't feel that bad about your chances. And I know that they don't have James Harden, and I know that some of their young guys are hurt, but I wouldn't want to be playing the Clippers if I'm even the Thunder. I don't know.
Yeah, no, we talked about Darius Garland going there a few weeks ago from the Cavs. And I mean, he officially had his first like really solid game with them. I think this was last night. Yeah, last night against the Spurs, he dropped 25 points and 10 assists, and he really is like one of the few true point guards left in the game, man. I mean, I wouldn't even say he's actually a true point guard. He's still like this shooter combo guy, but he can put up really crazy assists, and they're just like the kind of passes that you don't see from a lot of guys in the league. So it's cool to see him working out well.
Did you see that one shot he had where it wasn't like he shot it before the shot clock, but it was kind of a weird shot, and then it spun around in the hoop for
crazy spin. One of the awesomest buckets I've seen in a while.
It's you. Sometimes things like that happen in the basketball court, whether it's like a wedgie or a toilet bowl shot or something like that.
Yeah,
and it looks so funny. I don't know. Basketball is such like a incisive sport at times. Like the things that happen are so, the guy drives to the rim, he gets fouled or doesn't, whatever. When the silly things happen, it feels like we're watching like baseball or something. I don't know.
Yeah. No, that's really true.
I wanted to mention the team that is not the hottest team. We'll talk about the hottest team in the NBA soon. But one of the hottest teams is the Lakers. And honestly, it was just 3 weeks ago maybe that Luka looked sluggish. He had passed up that big shot to potentially win the game. LeBron and the Luka Reeves minutes were kind of not working. And then LeBron went out for a few games and has since come back and has like looked like he fit right in. And Luka is definitely on another level than he was at the start of the season, or even actually I should more say the middle of the season, because he was on fire at the start. But the Lakers team, it looks great. I don't exactly know what turned the corner, if they just are using LeBron in a different way, or if they've changed I don't think they've changed their lineups that much, but
no, it does. You're right, though. It feels like everyone's firing. Like at the beginning of the season, it felt like Reeves was picking up maybe some of the slack from like LeBron and Luka. And
they're both out kind of few games here and there. Yeah.
So Reeves had to like be the engine for the team, which I mean, kind of worked. They still held strong, and they were definitely in the top 5 or 6 in the West. But I think having like Luka and LeBron looks so healthy. It's like questionably healthy. Like peptides, what's going on?
I think it's just, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of maybe off the court stuff. I think honestly part of it is he's just load managing more now, which I know load managing is not a pretty word in modern NBA, and reasonably so.
If we're gonna let it slide for anybody, it should be LeBron.
Yeah, he's 41. So I think he's just taking either a game or maybe even a few minutes off here and there. And it's definitely helping. I did, I think 3 pods ago, we talked about Jaden McDaniels, and I was saying how I think he's probably the most elite role guy in the league. But with the way they're using LeBron now, I kind of think LeBron James might be the most elite role guy in the NBA now. He's not a primary guy for them, and I don't think he should be. But he's still LeBron James. Like, he's still getting into the space, finishing around the rim, moving the ball well. Like, the fact that you have LeBron James as your role guy is
crazy.
Is pretty awesome. Yeah,
I think maybe the part of his game that's still sliding the most is his defense. I think that's the one thing where it feels like his feet just are not under him the way they used to be, which, gosh, makes me almost shed a tear watching. Sometimes he's still like a really solid defender. At the end of the day, he's 6'9" and has crazy reach. But I think that's the one part of his game that I feel like is really slowly but surely has started to come down. But like you're saying, man, I mean, you can't leave him open on the perimeter. He can shoot the 3. He still drives, and downhill, he's like just about as scary as anyone. Yeah, it's crazy.
He's turned into this. Sorry, go for it.
Yeah, he's almost got like, I don't know, more momentum to him now, it feels like. Like when he's got this bowling ball attitude, which he kind of always had, but because it's almost in slow motion now, there's something about it where it's almost like more awkward to time for a defender.
No, I think it's a good insight. It's kind of, it reminds you a little bit of watching Travis Kelce maybe the season before last, where he's never been, fast guy, but when it's like he goes in a straight line and no one is stopping him, and maybe it's just because they're both kind of older gentlemen of the league. But yeah, this LeBron Swiss Army knife thing is really cool, and they have been extremely clutch. We'll talk about like a specific clutch moment later, but I kind of think the clutch time stuff is sustainable, and they have won so many close games, and the games they lose, they do get blown out. But you only care about the win column, especially in the playoffs. You only care about the win column. Maybe their point diff isn't as good as like, the Spurs, but they're still winning games. So anyway, I digress on the Lakers. It doesn't bring me any joy to see them doing so well, but they might get the 3 seed. Any other teams in that kind of group that I don't know. It looks like we're going to have Thunder 1, Spurs 2. Of that Lakers, Rockets, Nuggets, T-Wolves group. Anyone else that's just, I don't know, been jumping out to you?
Not really. I mean, obviously, the Lakers more recently. I think the Nuggets are still probably the 3 team for me in the West. I still think it's like,
it's so nice to have Aaron Gordon back.
Yeah, Aaron Gordon is awesome. He doesn't feel like he's really lost a step. His 3-point shot is maybe better. I feel
it's unreal.
It's unreal. He's such a good dude. All these big guys that like Aaron Gordon was not shooting threes like that in high school or like even college, man. Like it's just crazy.
He was
the
like
way
a 25% 3-point shooter earlier in his career. Like he was a bad shooter.
The way they had to adapt and like, yeah, it's really impressive to see. I think about Draymond Green too is another player. Like he picked up the 3-point shot at like age 30.
Yeah, I guess he had just enough time in the gym with Steph and Clay, and he's just like, I guess I gotta. Yeah, I'm definitely curious to see how the Timberwolves season's going to work out. Ant just got hurt, I think, earlier today, or at least was reported hurt earlier today. Randall had a bad stretch. Like, they're one of the teams I would least want to play in a playoff series, but they also just like can't put together a long stretch of convincing wins. Like only in the past few games, they lost to the Magic and the Clippers, and then lost fairly convincingly to the Thunder. And then like a few games before that, convincingly beat the Nuggets. I can't figure this team out, but we'll.
I think in one of the earlier pods we did, we talked about the Timberwolves just being a team to like watch throughout the whole season because they're so weird, and every season it's like you do not know what you're going to get out of them night to night. But then come around the playoffs, like you don't want to see them. I mean, Rudy is still an elite defender, and
they're so physical.
One of the scariest players in the league. Yeah.
Well, I guess we can stop ignoring the elephant of the Western Conference now and go to our winner of the week, or main character of the week, which it was Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and the Oklahoma City Thunder kind of in combination. I think we both started talking about this on Monday night when they had honestly an awesome win over the Denver Nuggets. The game was the Denver Nuggets story of this season, other than some of the injuries, has been how many amazing games they have been a part of and then also somehow lost. But Jokic played amazing. I think he had a 30-point triple-double, which we should not. I mean, I know we're used to it with Nikola Jokic, but we just shouldn't understate it. And then Shai hit I think it was 126 apiece, and he hit a cold-blooded 3 to make it to get Thunder the win. To get the Thunder the win.
The loading the gun celebration that he does. Are we rocking with that?
It's one of those things that if you're as good and as consistent and as like just ruthless as he is, he could do any celebration and it would be cool. That's kind of where I'm at.
It's just funny because it felt like Ja did all of his emotes and would get fined, but it feels like with Shai, man, it's kind of untouchable.
Yeah, I think it might just be untouchable.
He can do no wrong.
Yeah, in the mid range, he just feels. This is some of the most automatic mid range I can remember watching, even as recently as last season when he was still one of the 2 best players in the league. It didn't feel as automatic as it's starting to feel now. And I don't know if he was just working on his shot while he was injured for a few games. I don't really exactly have the reason for it. Maybe he's just he has the ring under his belt now and he believes more. But it is getting like Kobe Jordan levels of get the ball out of his hands in the clutch. Yeah. So they keep rising. I can't believe they have Jared McCain. I know I makes me so mad every time I see him in a Thunder jersey. He's so good.
And coming off the bench too, like he can just pull up and he's so efficient from 3. I feel like, I don't know, man. He's a scary guy to have coming off your bench for sure. Yeah, they've stayed so healthy. It feels like all season. I mean, I know that they were dealing with injuries at the beginning of the year with Jalen Williams, and now they're dealing with injuries with Jalen Williams. But but like still, man, it just feels like, I don't know. I think that they do a really good job of that load management that we talked about. They sit the guys when they need to, and then they play the guys that they need to. Like, I don't know, they do a really good job of it.
They do, and I think a huge part of it is just how deep they are. Like,
yeah,
even you'll watch a game, and at the end of the game, you'd be like, wait, did Isaiah Hartenstein even play? He was on the bench the whole time or whatever. And they have so many guys they can run out that it's all they never. There are some teams that if one of their top 5 guys isn't playing, you can see the hole in his spot, and the Thunder do not have that. So like, yeah, even though J-Dub has not been playing like much at all, it doesn't seem like they somehow just spawned AJ Mitchell off the street, or when Hartenstein is not playing, somehow Jalen Williams, the other Jalen Williams, is like stopping Jokic from getting to the rim. It's like, okay, so, and they can just do everything.
Yeah, Jalen Williams actually plays like a really good center for them when they need him to. It's crazy. He's like a real bully down there.
He is, yeah. Sneaky, thick.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to the loser of the week. For me this week, it has to be officiating, and this is cross-disciplinary. In terms of, this goes from the NBA to the World Baseball Classic. I think it started for me when I first heard why the officiating was loser of the week for me started when I heard about Bam Adebayo's 83-point game, which is funny because they really are catching a stray here. I don't think the officials really did anything wrong in that game, but when I first heard about this, the first thing I heard about was the number of free throws he shot and the intentional fouling at the end of the game, and that puts into my thought space officiating and refereeing, and how did they let this happen?
Which, as an aside, do you know who had the previous record for most free throws attempted in a game? Just out of curiosity.
No, I want to say I actually did see this stat though, and it was someone I had never heard of, I thought.
No, you have heard of him. You wouldn't think of this guy as a free throw shooter though.
I don't got it.
It was Dwight Howard.
Oh my gosh.
I can't even picture Dwight Howard shooting a free throw.
Yeah, when I have Dwight Howard in my mind's eye, pretty.
He's doing everything except shooting free throws. But it's kind of like, I guess, Giannis or Shaq before him or whatever, where it's like, if you can't stop him, put him at the free throw line. Anyway, now it's Bam.
Now it's Bam, and he's also officially on the, at least he's not at the top of the list. He's at the top of confirmed video footage NBA games.
Right.
As we've talked about. But I felt like the narrative that I did love from this whole thing was the proof of Wilt's 100. If Bam Adebayo can score 83 in today's NBA, then there's no doubt in my mind that Wilt did it in 1963 or whatever. Anyways, we'll probably talk more about that later. But that was the first thing that got the officiating, I guess, balls rolling in my head. Ball rolling. And so the next thing was the Cavs played the Magic this past week, and they had a game that they lost. There was a very questionable out of bounds call that occurred late in the game, and this was after the Cavs had used up their 2 challenges. So they were not able to challenge this final out of bounds call. And
this was the one where Harden went up to the referee and was like, on my whole life, I didn't touch it. I loved it.
I swear on my mama, for real.
On my mama. Yeah.
But anyways, and Donovan Mitchell after the game, which I feel like he's one of the more respected NBA players. Like when I think of I'll stop and listen, I think of, well, partially because I'm a Cavs fan, but I obviously think of Donovan. I think of like Wemby. If Wemby says something, I'm going to stop and listen and like really, really sit with it. But
kind of like LaMelo Ball, I think similarly in that camp. Just kidding.
Yeah, of course. Not loose with the tongue at all. Anyways, Mitchell after the game was basically, what we're all thinking. It's like, if you get your challenges correct, why do you not continue to challenge? Like if you are challenging correctly, you shouldn't be capped out at 2. We see this in the NFL as well, where I think a lot of it just comes down to it's an issue of tension. Like if you continue to allow these teams to challenge and they continue to get it right, it just becomes more of a narrative, more of an issue of like game fixing and stuff like that. And then it's also like an issue of time, right? Like the challenges already take forever. And so if we're just going to sit there and allow teams to keep challenging, it
ruins the momentum. It was like, even I think it was spring training. There was a clip going around where a guy, I'm not going to remember the name or specifically which player it was, challenged like 6 times in a row, balls and strikes, and got each one right. And it's just like, it's to your point, it does not make the officiating look good.
No. And so that also was an L for the officiating crew, being that they were wrong in that situation. And would have helped the Cavs' chances a lot. So I'm a little bit bitter about that one. There's that. And then now shifting over to the World Baseball Classic. For anyone that did not see, the USA and the Dominican Republic had a phenomenal semifinal match, semifinal game.
Yeah.
And I say phenomenal from a spectator's point of view, just like watching it, and you can feel the tension the whole game. I wouldn't say it was like, it actually was not a like a home run festival, which is what a lot of people maybe kind of anticipated given the lineups. And anyways, the very last ball thrown in the entire game. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to remember who was at bat.
It was Perdomo. The guy I feel like I'm bringing up all the time, and it was Mason Miller pitching to him.
Mason Miller, that's right. Yeah, Mason Miller to Perdomo. I mean, it was a beautiful pitch, but looking at the strike zone, the one that they show on the screen, it looked very clearly like maybe 2 balls below the strike zone.
No, solidly outside of the zone. It was just a beautiful pitch in that it stayed in the zone for so long and dropped like right as it was getting to Perdomo. Perdomo, for his credit, took the ball rather, and got rung up, and then that ended the game.
Right. And I think, I don't know, I saw some side angles of the pitch, which made it feel a little bit less of a ridiculous call from the ump. I think, in that moment, it's so hard to make that call as that ball is sinking. It's in the strike zone for so long. And so but nonetheless, another L for officiating, and especially in baseball where all you're thinking is this could have been automated and fixed so easily. But instead we are protecting umpires, which I do have some sympathy. I mean, like at the end of the day, it's a craft that they've honed over years and years. And I feel like there's a lot of pushback from, umpires and the umpire union, which I understand. But at the same time, I think like there's some balance to be made there, which the MLB will be doing. But I feel like, it would have been nice. Would have been nice if you're the Dominican Republic.
Yeah, it was, every game, especially baseball, you can pinpoint the specific moments where the game turned, but also the Dominican Republic did not hit well enough with batters on, and the USA fielding, especially Bobby Witt Jr., so solid. Like all the balls at the middle were hoovered up, and there are a million things you could point to, but that said, they got the call wrong, and that was the last thing that we saw in the game. So yeah. That's kind of what we remember.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah, I do think, it was a sad end to a Dominican Republic team that has been, even as an American, the main characters of this World Baseball Classic. I mean, even the round before, they had the walk-off mercy rule home run over South Korea. There was just so many unbelievable highlights of the energy that they were bringing. Vlad and Soto like sliding into home base. They were very different. The Vlad had kind of like the Superman slide that we have talked about that we loved before, and Soto kind of like had one of those slides and tags around. Like they were just playing with so much energy, and you could tell how excited the fans were. And it was a sad way for them to end. Obviously, I'm happy the United States is in the finals, but with a World Baseball Classic that was so defined by like these exciting teams, and granted Venezuela is still kind of carrying that torch, so we will see them in the finals. And I shout out to Venezuela beating Japan. Otani hit a sick home run, and then did you see he hit the calm down celebration to his dugout?
I missed that. Oh, that's baller.
God, it was so sick. Yeah. But no, the Venezuela pitching honestly was excellent down the stretch. Their closers and just relief guys were nails, especially Daniel Palencia. Anyway,
so I didn't. Did you see? Apparently, so Netflix was basically not allowing Japan to air the World Baseball Classic on like their. So basically, the only way to watch the World Baseball Classic was through a Netflix subscription, and so like a lot of the Japanese residents were, getting Netflix for the first time to be able to watch this.
Oh.
There was a lot of talk about how they'll all be canceling and how that's actually going to end up ruining the situation for Netflix, which is a silver lining for sure if you're anti big company.
Yeah, that's funny. I have Paramount Plus for Survivor 50, and in between Survivor seasons, like the few months in between, I do cancel it. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, what else are you watching on Paramount Plus?
I haven't found something yet. It's just Survivor. But yeah, last thing I'll say on World Baseball Classic, there's been a lot of, I don't think this is a majority of, so I'm going to say vocal minority online of people who have basically like, the Americans have had a very like stoic approach to this tournament. Like there was a whole thing going on where they had like a Navy SEAL come and talk to them. Probably not a Navy SEAL, or I'm not going to say it was exactly Navy SEAL. Someone with military experience talked to them about, something they had done in war. Basically, they're treating it very much like very American, treating it like, hey, we are at war with the other countries. And there was a whole thing with Cal Raleigh not shaking Rosarina's hand, whatever. And then on the other side, you have the Dominican Republic and you have Venezuela, and even honestly, Japan and Korea at times, and lots of emotion, lots of like care about this. And there's some pushback of like, hey man, act like you've been here before, be serious about it. And I just want to say this. If you have that opinion, you are a deeply lame person. And you need to, I won't say person, you're a deeply lame baseball fan. I'll do that. And you need to rethink your approach to this game, because sports are just meant to be fun. This is not war. And if you think, Acuna running around the bases and meeting his teammates at home base and like going crazy is lame, I don't even know what to tell you. And I hope you are able to change your heart.
It's crazy. So. I mean, like you said, that's a vocal minority. I feel like most people honestly don't care, but I'll definitely agree with that. I did see the American team. So the championship of the World Baseball Classic is taking place tonight, March 17th. And the American team pulled up in hockey uniforms in like our pregame.
Yeah, I know I just saw the headline too, so I'm not sure what my feelings are about it. I mean, listen, I'm pro cheering. I want the Americans to win. I'm very pro cheering on your own team.
Yeah.
We don't need to do it in this like stoic, we're cooler than you way. Like these are not easy games that the teams are winning. We don't have to act like it's just some walk in the park. I don't know.
No, yeah. I don't think. I feel like we're slowly getting rid of that narrative. I feel like the American baseball organization is as a whole, just given that, I mean, we're not a dominant force in the space, and I feel like
that's in the same way, at least.
Yeah, not in the same way that we had been. So
yeah, like we saw Team USA basketball go crazy anytime. Like they were so happy and stoked to have won the Olympics, even though maybe they were the odds-on favorite of her. And some of the younger guys in America, in the American team, I'm thinking specifically like Pete Crow Armstrong, definitely are not doing this like too cool for school thing. But if that's how you watch baseball, I feel a little sad for you. Alrighty, we'll switch to our best late game player of the week. We kind of both had one here. I'll talk about mine. So Arsenal was playing Everton in kind of a very important Premier League match. Arsenal is currently leading the league. Manchester City close behind them. And it's with how the Premier League works, it's basically you just need to get to the end, and any points you like, if you're the person below you drops points, you especially need to not drop points. It's all about your, it's a silly way to put it, but it's all about your like positional awareness with the teams around you. And City is one of those teams that feel often inevitable, and it feels like they're just always going to win. So it especially feels crucial for Arsenal to not drop points. And they were playing Everton. It was 0-0 going into the last few minutes. And then they subbed on a guy from their academy who is 16 years old named Max Dowman. And just instantly, he was like a breath of fresh air. Arsenal are an amazingly coached team, an extremely like solid team, but they're not always the most like creative and energetic going forward. And in the games they lose, you can especially feel that. And just he was instantly a breath of fresh air, like had so much energy, was attacking forward. And he kind of helped them score goal to make it 1-0. I think he had the cross in, if I'm not mistaken. And then at 90 minutes, and then 6 minutes of added time, he basically got the ball and ran the entire way up the pitch and scored. And it was just so, you can see at the bottom of the while he's running, and it's like as clear as going to score, you can see at the bottom of the screen the entire Arsenal bench like running with him. And then they all go into the field to mob him right then. And he's 16 years old, and it was just that I know I'm an Arsenal fan, but it was such an awesome moment, and what an exciting future I hope he has. So shout out Max Dowman.
Dude, it's crazy. I feel footballers they can start so young, man.
So
Like
young.
more than I guess the sports that we focus on here in America. Like, yeah, you'll have Cooper Flag, but he's 19. He's ancient. 20 maybe now. Like
Yeah, he's
relative. I don't
19.
know. It's just
And even
it's
even him,
mind blowing.
he
I
is
think.
insanely young. And then, I mean,
Yes.
if you take it even to like the NFL, it's like some of the guys entering the league, like who, shoot, the guy who played for Miami, Ohio in the championship finals, the quarterback. His name is escaping me. He's like 26, and he's going to be entering the league. So, yeah, 10 years older than Max Dowman. So it's just funny. But he was my late game player.
It is. Yeah, I also wanted to highlight, so from a late game moment, the Lakers played the Nuggets on Saturday night, which this has been talked about a lot because it was just an awesome game. Like the last minute, you saw just about everything. And I think my highlight for me was you basically got like a great face shot of LeBron going like horizontal with a minute left in the game to dive for a ball that was like a loose ball and ended up getting it. And anyways, then you see his face like right afterwards, and the clip is just so awesome of him like just in despair. Like I can only imagine the pain he's in after like diving. It's just really funny to see. And then at that point, I believe they were down to Denver, and then they had this. Yeah, they definitely were. And then with literally like 5 seconds left in the game, Austin Reeves is at the free throw line, is able to intentionally miss a free throw. Get the ball back, make the shot to force the overtime where they eventually win on a Luka Doncic buzzer beater. It was a crazy game, an unbelievable finish, and felt like even though it's the Lakers, we still had to highlight it.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about earlier, their clutch time stats are so good. And not all the time being good in clutch time means having these like very memorable clutch moments. Sometimes it just means like being able to get the 50-50 balls and win the small possessions. But especially in this game against the Nuggets, it did mean we had the Austin Reeves moment, the LeBron diving for a ball, even though he's 41. Hey, like I said, elite role player, LeBron James.
Doing the stuff nobody talks about.
It was awesome, though. And it didn't. The announcer said it well. He said, when you're his age, the court seems a lot harder than it used to.
Yeah, it's not as bouncy anymore, I'm sure. All right. Want to move on to our Vibes MVP, one of my favorite categories, to be honest. And this week, I wanted to highlight Matthias Buzelis. And he dropped his last 4 games. I believe this is 4 of his 5 last games. And he dropped 20 points, then 41 points, 22 points. And then I think maybe 2 or 3 nights ago, he had like a 15 or 16 point game. And then he just dropped 29 points last night. He is scoring the ball, and he's not just doing it in like the way that I guess, I don't know, a lot of players do it. I feel like most guys, they're really, I don't even want to say that actually. He just does it in every way possible. I mean, he fast breaks, he's jamming the ball like crazy. Has like a really nice 3-point shot. I don't know what his 3-point percentage is, but you can just tell he looks really comfortable beyond the arc. And it's just been shooting really, really well. And it just feels like he's really falling into his role with the Bulls. Him and Giddey are a really good 2-man duo. And yeah, I mean, he's just honestly looked awesome. And I think he's in his sophomore season. So seeing just like how he's progressed even so young has been really cool.
It's the confidence is the big thing that's changing for him. I wouldn't say he's like super elite in everything, but he feels more confident with the ball in his hands, more confident driving, more confident shooting. And even, the game, I believe it was last night, he even was having a pretty poor game shooting wise through maybe even the third quarter, and then just turned a corner and shots started falling and stuff. And I think that's always a huge thing for me to see a young player do, where it's not really your night and you kind of keep pressing and don't give up or don't be sheepish about it. So yeah, Buzelis is awesome. Yes, team. Is that next team or player we're watching the closest?
Yeah, let's do the team we're watching the closest. I can start us off if that's all right. So yeah, this is the one I was planning on talking about, the Magic, the Orlando Magic, who I feel like have been looking really, really good. Like I said, they beat the Cavs a little bit ago, which put them on my radar. And I think at that point they had like a 6-game win streak. And then they actually just ended up playing the the Heat, who they lost to. I think this was last night. So then it kind of left my radar for a little bit because I don't know, the Heat are such a weird team. I mean, obviously with everything that happened there, with Bam, who's apparently maybe one of the best players of all time. They're a tough team to beat.
We got to start thinking about that. I think it also might have been the Hawks last night. Which
is that what I was? Okay.
Hey, another red and white
team. Yeah, that actually makes more sense though, because that was the team that I really wanted to talk about. Was the Hawks, because that officially marks 10 in a row for them, which they have been on an unreal tear. I believe, oh my gosh, who was it? Nickeil Alexander-Walker put up 40 for them last night, which is crazy. It feels like they've just got so many options, man, and from nowhere, like, 1 or 2 seasons ago, and now, just looking amazing. It's crazy.
It is bizarre. Especially because they lost Trae Young. Traded away. Lost is maybe the wrong word. Traded away Trae Young this year, and I think that is the thing that has been highlighted to me. Kind of what you just said is that because they don't have this kind of dominant ball handler, like Trae Young is incredible, but he is also someone who demands the ball. They have kind of unlocked a little bit of extra juice from all of their other guys. Like we've talked about before, the Jalen Johnson, upgrade, but Nickeil Alexander-Walker, like they're getting these. Even Kuminga had a little bit of a resurgence there, though that might have been a little bit of like honeymoon because he's kind of fallen back. But yeah, they're getting a little bit of something from everybody, and it's somehow turned into this 10-game win streak. And it might be fool's gold. We'll see if looks like they're going to make at least a play in. We'll see how this kind of shakes out. But
feels like the trade worked out great for them, to be honest. Honestly, this is no ill will, but I think Trae Young just got hurt. It looked like last night with the Wizards, which is unfortunate to see. But like just seeing, I don't know, McCollum is playing decently well. I mean, he's starting for them. And then I think they also got Corey Hispert out of that trade, who's coming off the bench for them, who's been fine. It feels like they're still going to be able to make a push. Mm-hmm.
They're piecing together. It's a weird. You watch them, and other than Jalen Johnson, no one is kind of jumping off the screen. But they are putting together the wins. And, sometimes in the NBA, we have that where it's not, even sometimes I feel like this with the Pistons where, and it's a little bit different because they have Cade, but sometimes you look through their roster and you're not entirely sure how they're getting the points that they're getting, but they're doing enough to win the games. And like we said earlier, that is the only thing that really ultimately matters. There's no, whatever the opposite of empty stats are, that's kind of what's happening here. And 10 games in a row in the NBA is nothing to sniff at. I also wanted to mention the Kings, the Sacramento Kings. They won 4 of 5, probably unintentionally. They can't have. They're who's right above them in the standings? Maybe the Pelicans. It's the Jazz, of course. The Jazz are getting close to their worst in the league spot. I don't know if the Kings care about that. But
they're vying for position down there.
Yeah. But yeah, they won 4 of 5. DeMar DeRozan put up 41. And I don't know. I never know what to make of this team. I don't feel like they should be the worst team in the league, but then they are. And then they win 4 out of 5 when I've told myself in my brain, okay, the Kings are the worst team. Then they win 4 of 5. So who knows? Yeah. Okay. We don't need to talk about Bam 83. We're a week after it. Safe to say it was the weirdest night in NBA recent history. Do you have any other like adjectives for that?
Surreal. Yeah, it was ridiculous, I think might be a word that I would use. Not right.
I would not right. To sum it up, he was maybe the third person on the Miami Heat who I would have expected to have ever dropped 83. Like he's not even first or second most likely in my head behind Tyler Hero and Norm. And then the Miami Heat are like so near the bottom of the teams I would have expected to. If this was Luka or I don't know, Devin Booker or something, it's like, okay, sure. Anyway, but it did result in some great content. And so we wanted to just like read some great tweets from this week. One of my favorites was this guy posted his betting slip and he had bet Bam Adebayo under 25.5 points. And then the betting slip just shows obviously it shows a loss, and then it shows 83 on the other side, and it's just so crazy to see 83. Someone said instead of Mamba mentality, Bamba or Bamba mentality, which I don't think is going to take off. I don't really plan to be using it, but is a good turn of phrase. And then, so Bam Adebayo is, I believe, girlfriend. I'm not sure if anything more than that, but Aja Wilson, who is probably the best player in the WNBA. Someone said, prayers up for whoever has to guard Aja this season whenever she decides she doesn't want Bam to have the family record anymore. And I just thought that was a special tweet.
Yeah.
So
how do we feel about, I mean, what is this Hall of Fame ballot looking like now? Like, seriously, dude, how is he, like, how do you not put a guy that scored 83 points in an NBA game in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, he could do nothing else. And I guess he also has a Olympic gold medal. He has an NBA Finals appearance. I'm trying to think if there's anything else.
He probably got an All-Star nod.
Oh, he's definitely got All-Stars. Yeah. Does he have an All-NBA?
Poof. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, just crazy. I saw the other one was like, you're throwing something into the trash can, and instead of saying Kobe, you say Bam, which honestly, Bam kind of has a nice ring to it, to be frank. I don't know.
No, it's an all-time. So Bam Adebayo is an unbelievable name. Like, just
awesome name.
Rolling off the tongue. I was with my sister when it happened. We were just getting pizza, and she is not an NBA person. And she was like, she asked very fairly, like, of course it's such a big record, but you seem even more weirded out as opposed to just like, recognizing that the record got broken. And it was really hard to explain to her how weird it was that Bam Adebayo, whose previous career high was 41, right?
41, yeah.
And he had like 31 in the first quarter. It was very hard to explain why it's just so weird. It's baffling. And anyway,
yeah,
we told ourselves we wouldn't talk that much about it, but
no, I mean, it would have been fine. Honestly, like, it would have been insane, but it would have been fine if Spoelstra pulled him out at like 5 or 10 minutes left. Like, I think maybe, like, I don't know, really at any point in the fourth quarter.
Do you think he should have?
If I was the coach of the Heat, I would have pulled him out. Yeah.
Why?
Because we had won the game. There's no reason.
Do you think Joe Mazzulla would have pulled Jason Tatum out?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. There's like, I think part of it's because Mazzulla is a former baller. So I think that's part of it, is like, if you're a player, I think maybe you have like more respect for a player wanting to go do something crazy. But no, I mean, if as a coach, you have to be like so objective in those situations, because if Bam gets hurt with like, a minute or two left in this game, it falls on you for not pulling him out when you absolutely should have. And then it's like, oh my gosh, what a ridiculous thing. You guys were up by 30 points. Why did you not pull him out?
Or you could have seen the guy get a new modern NBA record. I don't know. I don't think I agree at all. I probably would have kept him in. I probably would have done even more ridiculous fouling to get the ball back. I would have done that earlier. Third quarter. Yeah, I don't know. Well, I don't know if we'll ever see something like this again. It's pretty
No, it was special for sure. I kind of agree. I don't know if we'll ever see a performance like that again, because it takes, like, yeah, your coach has to leave you in with 5 to 10 minutes left in the game and allow you to go from, like, I don't know, I feel like there's that 70-point threshold where we've seen a lot of guys fall. Like, I think about Donovan Mitchell had one last season.
Joel Embiid had one. Luka had one.
Embiid, Booker. There's a lot, honestly.
Yeah.
Lillard, yep. Damian Lillard had one. There's a good list of guys that have had like a 70-point game, but an 80-point game, it's taking it too far.
Oh, too many points.
Yes. Yeah.
This is not
reaching
cool.
Too close to the sun. It's not cool.
So, of our current NBA class, if you had to put money on someone to beat this, who would you pick?
Dude, I want to say Wemby. I want to so bad,
because I think probably true.
I think if they gave him the opportunity, he could do it. Like, out of all the guys, like, if they just gave him the ball every single time down the court, like, he has the highest chance of getting there. Realistically, though, like, the guy from like this, maybe rookie to third year class that will score 70, poof. Dude, can I put like Knipple? I think he could pop off.
That's not a bad idea.
Games.
He just does a Klay Thompson impression.
Yeah, and Cooper Flag too. I mean, obviously, dude, him healthy is so scary. Actually, he's a freaking beast. I like every time I forget, and then I watch a game with the Mavericks. I'm like, wait a minute, he's kind of that dude, and he's on like just a terrible team.
No, the Cooper Flag. You never want to compare anyone to young LeBron James. It's a fool's errand. He has some of the bounce and explosiveness, and importantly, like length and height, and honestly, even strength. Even though he's 19, like he can get to the rim and bully people out of the way, and then also get kind of the step back floater. Like his game is extremely fully realized already in a way that people his age, other than young LeBron, it's hard to imagine. It's hard to think of anyone like that. So,
and there is something to be said about being on a bad organization when you're young like that.
Yeah, maybe that's just why I think of the LeBron comparisons. It's kind of
it makes you be like that guy, and it makes you just like continue to strive. And it's like, yeah, you had a good season, a good rookie season, but your team is like one of the worst in the league, and that has to just like fester and build. And so, in that sense, yeah,
get some grit.
The Mavericks, maybe that's what they're. Maybe that was a plan the whole time. It's surround them with a bad team.
It's not a bad theory because it's almost the opposite in like the NFL, where it's like if you are a really promising quarterback and you get drafted to an organization that is just not, that cannot figure you out, like your career is over and you are 22. Like I mean, I know there are some reclamation projects in the league right now, in the NFL right now, but I'm trying to think of a good example. I worry for Kyler Murray. He was on he got drafted to the Cardinals, and now he's on a minimum salary. But maybe the NBA just needs some grit.
At least he's on a promising Vikings team, though.
No, that's fair. I shouldn't predict too hard. It just feels, I can agree with your theory in the NBA. I could not agree with it in the NFL.
I totally agree. I totally agree.
Bad environment. Yeah. Well, we wanted to do one of our segments we do is just like what we learned this week. And the thing that stuck out to me, I was watching, I think you even mentioned it, the Magic Cavs game. So I've been watching some college basketball, obviously, in the lead into the tournament. And, people love to say, oh, college basketball is so good. It's grittier and the players try harder, which is completely ridiculous. But I watch, obviously there are some guys that are great shooters. But then you turn on an NBA game, and I just was really struck by it in this game because even guys, so Desmond Bane, Donovan Mitchell, and James Harden were all hitting just like shots of the highest degree of difficulty, like hands in the face, falling away, looked at the rim barely. But even like Keon Ellis was hitting some just unbelievable shots, and they were so perfect, like straight nylon, no rim. And I just couldn't help but think like, these NBA players are so good at shooting the basketball. And I know that is a foregone conclusion, and it's like, duh. But sometimes when you get to see it in comparison to college basketball players who are great, it really was stark.
Yeah, they got the volume, turned up way more. Like the gain on the microphones is blasted in those college games because when you hear the rim pop, it goes. So I think I'm telling you, true. That's like a mental thing for me. But I definitely agree. Regardless of that, NBA players, you take it for granted, man, just how good they are at shooting the freaking ball. Yeah, I mean, it's Kevin Durant is like the prime example that I think of. Like, dude, it's actually automatic. It's so impressive, and yeah, it's gotten to a point where now there's like a lot of guys like Keon Ellis. Come on,
no,
and he's
seriously.
a guy that you can watch play, and it's just like, yeah, he pulls up and it feels automatic, and it's just
even like role play, even old guys in the NBA. Like somebody will watch Brooke Lopez cash a three, and I'm just like, it's just crazy. We talked about Aaron Gordon already. Like these guys that are not, the average person does not know who these people are, and the level of shot making is just crazy. And I think it's just fun sometimes to say it.
Yeah, take a minute to talk about it. Yeah, it's so sobering, dude. If you go to an NBA game and you watch the pregame warm up,
yes,
it's actually insane how quick, like they make every single shot. It feels like it's crazy.
Yeah. Alrighty, we wanted to. So it was the first week of NFL free agency. I'm not going to say an earth-shattering week of free agency, but there was definitely a lot of headline-making things. So I wanted to just read some kind of the bigger transactions, and then Kyle ask you some questions about like who won these transactions, who lost. Yeah, we'll get to that. But so the Kansas City Chiefs got Justin Fields and then Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker So two sides of the spectrum there. You already mentioned it. The Vikings got quarterback Kyler Murray on basically a 1 year, $1 million deal, like as cheap as it's going to get for a quarterback. The San Francisco 49ers got wide receiver Mike Evans, who is one of the oldest and savviest players in the league, but has never really been on a Super Bowl contending team. The Bears strengthened their defense a little bit. The Ravens strengthened their defense a little bit with Max Crosby, a lot bit with Max Crosby. Backed out of that. Maybe some foul play there, and then they signed Trey Hendrickson, formerly of the Bengals. Steelers got a new wide receiver. Pats got a new wide receiver. The Falcons, there was some quarterback carousel. The Falcons got Tua from Miami. Miami got Malik Willis, formerly the Packers backup. And then the last major transaction, the Indianapolis Colts re-signed Daniel Jones, who currently has a torn Achilles, or actually probably not currently, it's probably stitched up at this point, is recovering from a torn Achilles. And then they also re-signed Alec Pierce to be one of the 10 now highest paid wide receivers. So no, there's a long list of that. But I guess my first thought is, what of those teams, Kyle, do you think is now more of a contender because of their free agent deals?
Yeah, dude, the one that jumps out to me the most is the Vikings, to be honest. I mean, I think from going from JJ McCarthy,
wow,
to Kyler,
is that much of a step up for you?
For me, it really is, and partially because now it feels like there's going to be some competition, like going into the season, and it's kind of like a battle, which I think will help. And I just think Kyler, I really hope that for the Vikings, as from a Vikings fan standpoint, and also a Kyler Murray fan standpoint. Like I honestly love watching.
No,
him
I do
play.
like
I think he's one of the most special players. He's so athletic, and he plays quarterback in a unique way. And I think having him fit into this style of offense with, I mean, Justin Jefferson, and then also Addison is the other good receiver that comes to mind for the Vikings. I feel like it's just one more option that we didn't really see with the Cardinals being, I mean, Marvin Harrison Jr., who really was
disappointed.
He had a disappointing season, dropped a lot of balls, which, I mean, I hate saying it because he's a Buckeye, but still, I don't know. It was just I think this situation fits Kyler way better. And I mean, the Vikings this past season, it just felt like that was the one missing piece for them, was the quarterback situation. I mean, because the previous year they kind of had it all together, and then it all fell apart in the playoffs. But
and then their quarterback went and won a Super Bowl.
And then their quarterback went and won a Super Bowl. But yeah, so I think I really like the Vikings getting Kyler for cheap too. I mean, that's the thing, right? They signed him.
The cheap is the big deal.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. So I like that for them. I think the loser for me is probably, the team that the Bengals, honestly, like as a Cincinnati guy, dude, giving Trey Hendrickson away for free and like not shopping him at all was crazy.
Yeah, it's tough because he is 30.
Has that kind of power.
He is extremely good and was one of the bright spots of the Bengals defense. But it's tough. He is 30 and he was going to ask for a huge deal, and he's been fairly healthy, but has had his spottiness. I don't know. I wouldn't be that upset. I don't know. It's a lot of money.
I mean, I guess you shouldn't be that upset, but I still think it's like a level of negligence from management, though. As like a Bengals fan, as a partial Bengals fan, I am like kind of pissed about it. I'm like, guys, what are we doing?
Not shopping him is a very notable knock on that.
L. Yeah. And I was just thinking about it. So we were just talking about. Sorry, I wanted to make this point. So Kyler being signed on 1 year for $1 million and change, and Daniel Jones being signed for $88 million for 2 years. So call that 40-some million. Is he 44 times the player as Kyler Murray?
No, that is the real mark, I think, for Kyler, that this is a huge win, that former number one pick can be your quarterback, even if he has looked disappointing at times, can be your quarterback for, I mean, let's be honest, basically for free. And the Colts, I don't know who told them they need to go all in. I know they were the most exciting team in football, but they are fully all in. I mean, they gave away their picks
Jones
for
getting a statue.
He's either getting a statue or he is getting run out of the city, like he did in New York. I'm worried for the Colts. I like the team. I like Daniel Jones. I love Jonathan Taylor. honestly, I think Alec Pierce is great. I just don't think he's top 10 great. And I don't think Daniel Jones is 88 million great. But we'll see. Okay. And then any teams that you're just like, hey, putting a pin in this isn't, wasn't a home run or anything, but they're building for the future here. Any teams that you're just like, oh, this was like a positive window, like the kind of thing like the Thunder in 2022. It's like, okay, they're not going to win the league next year, but they're definitely building something.
Yeah, that's a good question. Honestly, I think the Chiefs, I mean, that's for the ones you listed, the Chiefs getting Fields is like one of those things where it feels like they're playing chess and everyone else is playing checkers. And they're like, what are they doing that? But I mean, it really kind of makes sense with Mahomes. And I don't know. I think, I don't know what your opinions are on Justin Fields, but I honestly think he's got a lot of upside to him.
No, yeah, I think that's right. We've talked about that before.
Yeah.
If he's going to be a backup to Patrick Mahomes, maybe he can learn some stuff. They're both extreme. They both have a lot of similar athletic tools. Like I do want Justin Fields to be good I like the guy. So there could be some cope in there, but
yeah, but no, I think that was the next thing I was going to say. Actually, exactly what you just said was that Mahomes feels like a similar style of player. And so for Fields to just like be in the back taking notes, if he feels like the perfect guy to potentially fill that role in an Andy Reid offense.
Yeah. The real one that I'm just so excited for, and it's really tough as a Lions fan, they're in my division. But the Bears strengthened their defense with his name is Kobe Bryant, which is just every time someone says it, I think it's awesome. But Super Bowl winning Kobe Bryant, and the Bears have, they have Caleb Williams on a great deal. Caleb looked on the rookie deal. Caleb looked unbelievable last year, and had his inconsistencies, but we all saw the highlights. And it's just, if they can build like a great team around Caleb, and also their young receivers, Adunze and Luther Burden, and then they can build like a good defense and O-line. It's like, that is how you build a championship winning team right there, is have your great players, your great offensive players on very high leverage, cheap contracts, and then spend the rest of your money on maybe more expensive, but extremely impactful, like O-line defensive players. And so I'm so bullish on the Bears. Yeah. All right, let's go to tennis. How's that sound?
Yeah, let's talk about it. Crazy tournament in Indian Wells. I mean, we talked about it a little bit, just the conditions of the tournament. It was unbelievably hot, and so there was some room for upsets, which we definitely got with two games, really. I think the first one that we could talk about is Draper versus Djokovic, which I think was a quarterfinal. And just a crazy match. I mean, this is one where you feel like it's the conclusion is predetermined. You obviously expect Djokovic to win this. Draper just doesn't feel like he's the type of player that would take out Djokovic in a Masters 1000 or a majors type of tournament. To me, I think of like young guys that are maybe more explosive, whereas Draper feels really inconsistent, and Djokovic would be able to beat up on that. But not really the case. Draper, honestly, I felt like stayed in the rallies really, really well. And when you just have like these crazy slug matches where they just go and go and go, it's not surprising to see the guy that is maybe 15 years younger end up taking it.
Yeah. So I don't even know exactly what spurred it, but I decided to watch this entire thing. We've talked about it before in the pod. I love Jack Draper. And I think your criticisms of him are fair, and he doesn't have, like you said, a Ben Shelton weapon serve, or some of the things, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on his name. The guy, I think he's Australian, and he's really quick. I don't know.
Anyway. De Minaur?
Yes, thank you so much. Yeah. He doesn't have like an extra weapon, and Djokovic is just, I mean, even in his elder years, like the most solid, like pressing, stay in it kind of tennis player we have. If you were listening to this and you have any interest in tennis, you should go watch the third set of this match. They were tied 1-1, and they played some of the longest and gutsiest and grittiest rallies that I have ever seen on a tennis court. And we've talked about it. It was hot. They were both clearly so gassed, and then just like somehow immediately got up and went to the next point. And it wasn't always like the cleanest. It wasn't like watching, like a Federer or Alcaraz and Sinner, where it's like the shot quality is so high. but the athleticism that they were showing off was just unbelievable. And what it really came down to was a tiebreak. I mean, I think they both broke once in the third set, so it went to a tiebreak. And Draper was down a few, and Djokovic was serving and was able to kind of get both of those points, and that was ultimately what turned the tide. And I mean, all it was he outlasted Djokovic, and of course Djokovic is much older, but it was awesome tennis. And this was my game of the week. Out of all the exciting sports that we got to watch this week, this was by far the most exciting thing I saw there. Especially there's this one rally that was like 32 shots, and
Jeez.
It was one of those where the commentator was completely quiet and the crowd was getting louder and louder, and they're running back and forth, and there's like lobs and weird shots and improvisation. It was just awesome. So that's my essay about how great that game was.
Yeah. So Jack Draper winning, shocking, and feels like, I don't know, Djokovic he's just the guy that never gives up. So I think that was the thing that's like that's part of the reason why, like, a lot of other players in that situation, you get broke in the third set, it's like, oh brother. But Djokovic is just, man, he's got that will that very few people have in any sport. So yeah. And then
then Draper had to play the next day.
Yeah, that's
so
one of the most the craziest things about tennis. In any of these tournaments, they are playing back to back near the end and every other day at the beginning of the tournament. And yeah, you don't realize just how much that takes. It's crazy. I mean, some of these matches can take, and in these two setters, they're usually over in about 3 hours at the longest. But yeah, if you look at the 5-set matches, oh my gosh, they can take 5-6 hours. It's crazy, and then you would do it all again the next day.
And as a preamble to the match you're about to talk about, the guy that Draper had to play the very next day was Medvedev. And
yeah, which you got to think, if you're Jack Draper, you're probably thinking, so in the other semifinal, it was semifinal, it was Carlos Alcaraz and Daniel Medvedev. Sorry, not the other semifinal, but in the semifinal, it was Carlos Alcaraz and Daniel Medvedev. And this was, I guess, sorry, you got me, okay, flipped up a little bit. But yeah, Medvedev so Alcaraz played Draper in the quarters. Is that what happened?
No. Medvedev beat Draper. So it went Draper Djokovic in the round of 16.
Yeah.
And then it went Draper beat Djokovic, Draper Medvedev, and then Medvedev beat Draper, played Alcaraz in the semis. Yeah.
So yeah, anyways, Medvedev makes semis, has to play Carlos Alcaraz. And again, so hot, and you can kind of see it during this match, especially, which, if you ask me, I think of Medvedev as not being like one of those top conditioned guys. I feel like I can picture some tournaments where he's like hand on his knees, like keeled over. But
he's a little sweaty.
Yeah. But this day, I mean, just was powering through Carlos like you very rarely see. Medvedev has such a unique shot. Like, all of his ground strokes are so flat and unlike any other player. And sometimes I think that just, especially a guy like Carlos, who is super spinny, generates a ton of spin on every single shot, to then be getting that ball back so quickly with very little spin and very flat from Medvedev, just ended up being able to outpower Medvedev did, and beat him in 2 sets, shockingly. And I think it's one of those things where we're talking about the conditioning. I think if this goes to 3, I really like Carlos's chances, just given how fit he seems and how he's always, I mean, it's very rare where you see him really like feeling, like he's slowed down. And so, yeah, but really a shocking win for Medvedev. He's just sometimes got it. In this tournament, it felt like he was really putting the pieces together. And when his ground strokes are as confident as they were for this tournament, I mean, his backhand is so much different than like any other guy's. And I mean, his forehand too, but for me, it's his backhand that's really, really good. And it really was just like in full form this tournament. I mean, he was hitting lines all over the place, and his serve was good enough.
No, exactly. He's kind of like, an NBA team like the Timberwolves we were talking about, where when you watch Medvedev on the wrong day, you're just like, what? I don't even get what he's trying to do. And then, if he is hitting shots the way that he hits shots in the unorthodox form that he has, and he, skies it or hits it into the net, you're just like, well, of course, like that, you should never hit a shot like that. and then you watch him on the right day. I mean, I've watched him get upset so many times. I'd never thought not never. I would almost always expect him to get upset now in 2026 more than I'd ever expect to see him beat Carlos Alcaraz. But he was so strong. He didn't double fault once. All his strokes, like you said, were confident. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean the whole tournament, it just is one of those things where when he's firing like that, he's got it. And I went back because I was getting so confused about the layout of the tournament. But yeah, he beat Draper 6-1, 7-5, and I think after that match I was like, I watched that and it was just like, wow, he's clearly on one this week. So then he ended up playing Jannik Sinner in the final, so we missed out on the Sinner Alcaraz final, which it seems like they have not matched up yet in 2026 because we did not see them in the Australian Open, and then now we again do not see them in Indian Wells. So still waiting on that matchup. But Jannik Sinner ended up taking it in 2 sets in the final. It was pretty crazy though. Both sets went to a tiebreak. And it felt like, I mean, Medvedev was right there the whole match. He still played phenomenally. His serve looked really good. That was the most shocking thing to me. But I mean, Sinner is just the man sometimes, and he's so consistent, man. And his ground strokes, I mean, we're talking about Medvedev's ground strokes, but Sinner's ground strokes are still one of one. He just absolutely blasts the ball, freaking pummels it. So yeah, he ended up taking it. And I think this might be Sinner's first win in Indian Wells. So good for him.
I think it is too, because he notably did not play last year because of the PED stuff. And yeah, I mean, Alcaraz felt like after Wimbledon, U.S. Open, Sinner won in Wimbledon. Yeah. So after the U.S. Open, and then I'm going to forget some of the tournaments at the end of 2025, the non-Grand Slams. But
it might be Beijing, I think, is the big one that.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, that he won.
And then at the Australian Open, it kind of felt like Alcaraz was like taking the step away. And Sinner was just here to remind us, like, hey, do not forget about how good I am at this sport. And there's a reason that it's, Sin Caraz and not just Alcaraz. So on great Indian Wells, even though they weren't playing, best of fives, which like we're kind of used to at like the premier tennis tournaments, an unbelievable tournament of just exciting stuff. I mean, we didn't even mention so many of the amazing upsets that happened in the earlier rounds. The women's side had some great, I mean, Sabalenka still won fairly convincingly because she is just sick. But I mean, the whole tournament, really exciting. Tennis is just the best for that, man. You can watch any round of a tennis tournament and it feels like something's cool is happening.
It does feel like that. One criticism I'll have is the last, so I think we talked about it. I went to the Cincinnati Open where it was just horribly hot. And now for the similar thing to be happening at Indian Wells where it was just terribly hot, it's like, we've got to start putting these tournaments in places where it's not 100 degrees.
No, I think that's
tennis
fair.
is not the sport for it, man. It's just not. When you have to be out in the blazing heat for like 5 hours, I don't know. At some point, it does sort of like take away from the game a little bit.
Yeah, the courts definitely don't. They don't like absorb. Oh no, they absorb heat, so they feel hot. They don't like.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, the heat radiates off of them. Yeah,
Wimbledon maybe is a little better for that, but
definitely.
Kyle, what were you doing this week that wasn't sports? What were you watching or reading or
for me
playing?
So yeah, I was actually off grid, I guess you could say. Really just didn't have internet access for the whole weekend. So was actually like away from sports for
like
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and most of the day Sunday, and got back Sunday night, which was actually a great time to get back. Sunday had a great fleet of sports, and not even sports, but pop culture as well. So Sunday night I was watching the World Baseball Classic and then also the Oscars in tandem. I was like flipping back between them. The Oscars was on Sunday night, right? And
yes.
One thing I'll mention is the length of the commercials, egregious. They would like do a slot of commercials for like maybe 2 minutes, and then they'd have like, they do the thing where they'll like jump back to the Oscars for 5 seconds and remind you that that's what you're watching, and then go back to 2 minutes of commercials. So if that was the sole thing I was watching, I would have been really annoyed. But because I was also watching USA and the Dominican Republic World Baseball Classic match, it was fine. But that was the first thing. That was the first thing that popped into my head. As far as like the Oscars, I thought it was a really entertaining show. It was fun. It was at some points lighthearted, at other points heavy-hearted, which I feel like it always is.
Yeah, it was on the heavy-hearted note. It was a a lot of titans of cinema, of historical cinema, passed away this year. Some for obviously very tragic reasons, like Rob Reiner. But on the the lighter note, it was also a great year for movies. Like I saw a good few of the Best Picture contenders. Some of them just by virtue of them being like fun movies to see in theaters. When I went and saw Sinners, I did not know it doesn't present like an Oscars movie, quote unquote, whatever that might mean.
I mean, Michael B. Jordan doesn't present like an Oscars lead actor, in my opinion. Like,
right.
What I mean?
He's a very
fun black, he's in Black Panther, like there movies like that where it's just like crazy. Yeah.
Yes. Right. That said, I am so happy that the Academy is willing to recognize the greatness of some of these things that are maybe, more commercially friendly, but also so well done. Like that was honestly One Battle After Another, especially like you could just watch One Battle After Another, which was what ultimately won the Best Picture, as just like a fun action movie. And it's a great movie and it's so well done. And then if you explore it a little bit more, it holds up to any kind of lens you put on it. But great year for movies. I thought the Oscars was really fun.
Yeah. Quickly, I think for me, One Battle After Another took the Best Picture, which I was happy with. It was a fun movie. I really enjoyed watching it. As Matt, you I believe know, I was not a fan of Marty Supreme, which did not see any love from the Oscars committee. So clearly, I am a real cinephile and I know movies. I'm a movie head. Me and the Academy are on the same page, and anyone else doesn't know what they're talking about.
Or is it you doing the Timothée Chalamet, like posting about how he anti-ballet and opera, and you were trying to get the votes away from him? Or was it?
Yeah, that was me. Yeah, that's my
okay,
that's like my Kevin Durant fake
that's
Twitter.
Your burner.
Yeah, that's my burner.
No, it did blank, which I was sad about. I loved Marty Supreme.
Yeah,
but
and I was actually pretty shocked to see it totally blank. At some point I was starting to feel bad for it. I was like, all right, come on, give it one of these. Like it surely was up for Best Original Screenplay. I believe it was a totally new idea for a film, and so I kind of thought, if anything, it would win that. But Sinners ended up winning best actor, Michael B. Jordan. Yeah, best male actor.
That was an awesome moment. You could tell the room had so much admiration for him. Like everyone was so excited. It was really cool to watch that.
I think so too, and I thought he gave an awesome speech. Like I think one of the first things he said was just like how he stood on the shoulders of giants, which is something that basically everyone can relate to in any field or profession that they're in. And I think it's just like a point of humility when someone like Michael,
and he was able
to
I think especially he did it like, not that anyone who says that is ever trite about it, but he especially was like, you could tell he really believed it, and he was able to name the people who came before him. And another person who did that really well was the lady who won for cinematography for Sinners, the first woman to ever win cinematography. And she was able to, very eloquently say, like, I am able to win, to be named for best cinematography as a woman because of these people, and had the women of the room, kind of recognize them. So between both of them, just a lot of like reverence for what kind of came before, which is always really cool.
Yeah, definitely. Also, fun fact, I didn't realize this. So One Battle After Another was directed by Paul Thomas Anderson, who ended up getting, I think, altogether 3 awards on the night, including Best Picture for One Battle After Another.
Yeah, like director and screenplay, I believe, were the other 2.
Okay. Yeah, or director. Yeah,
adapted screenplay, not original screenplay.
That's right. Yeah. And so his name came up a bunch, and I was going back and looking at some of the other films that he had done. There Will Be Blood, which is an awesome film, which I actually ended up watching earlier this year, and I did not realize that he was the director of it, and like loved it. That's a really fun one, crazy movie. And then the other one is Boogie Nights, which is like a cult classics type style movie. And I did not realize that he directed that as well. And I was looking it up, and I think he was 27 years old when he directed that movie.
He's definitely been an auteur for a lot.
Wow.
Like since he was young, and he has a very eclectic filmography. A lot of genres, worked with a lot of amazing actors. Like he said it, I think when he won Best Director, maybe he basically said like, man, you make a guy work really hard for this, because he's been at this for a long time and made a lot of great movies. So
yeah, it's just cool to see. I don't know. It's always fun when you see like a guy that has directed films over a large genre range, as you said.
Exactly.
Great year for movies, though.
No, it really was. It really was. Have you gotten into Slay the Spire 2 yet, or still?
No, still not yet. I'm close. So I think I need to do maybe like 1 or 2 more runs. The problem is, like, if you have a good Slay the Spire run, it takes up like at least an hour of your time. So it's kind of it's an investment. So we're getting there, but hopefully soon. One of my buddies, there's like a multiplayer version in Slay the Spire 2, which is new. And so one of my buddies was like trying to get me to play. So I hope it's probably coming soon. I'll let you know immediately.
Well, as we're wrapping, I wanted to appreciate you for wearing your green. I was at work today, and dude, an unbelievable lack of green. People were and an unbelievable lack of awareness.
Yep.
People were confused why I was asking them where their green was.
No respect
it was tough.
for St. Patrick's Day. No respect.
What happened? I feel like this used to be a national treasure. Where'd we go wrong? Well, thanks
everyone. Green underneath as well. Green shirt underneath my green hoodie.
Good man. This is my only green. I don't. Yeah,
I just had to one up you. Just
no, you did. You definitely.
Have you heard the thing you can pinch people if they're not wearing green?
Yes. Yeah.
This is apparently a thing. Okay.
I didn't pinch today.
I was pinching. I was
at work.
It becomes an HR violation quickly. I can't be pinching.
What I was doing, I was telling people, I hope you get pinched. And
yeah, you deserve to be pinched.
Yes, and in a world where I was less friendly with my coworkers, maybe that could be taken poorly, but
sure.
I think it went over mostly well. Knock on wood. Well, thanks everyone for listening. Yeah, if you're listening to us on Spotify, you're on the Field Guide Podcast Network feed. There's other shows on here like Goatcast and previously on and Science Sleepover. So a lot of different stuff that you can listen to, but we're super glad you're listening to us here. If you're on YouTube, subscribe. We talk about sports every Monday or Tuesday. And happy St. Patrick's, happy Oscars, happy World Baseball Classic finals tonight.
USA.
Go USA. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks.